The New York Giants face off against the Chicago Bears in the Windy City, and I think this would be a fairly tight game like last year, but the biggest matchup the Bears will try to exploit will be running back Rick Cohen and their Swiss Army knife player in Cordero Patterson versus the Giants inside linebackers in the passing game, with Cohen being both quick and explosive along with being a very strong receiver, and with Patterson being a former wide receiver. They create a huge problem for Blake Martinez and Devontae Downs. It'll be interesting to see if the Giants will allow them to match up in man coverage or try to isolate one of those guys with the safety when it's an obvious passing situation and they're on the field. This is one of the game within the game matchups that you want to keep an eye on in week 2. I thought Daniel Jones made some significant strides from a pocket awareness standpoint and being a bit more willing to take off and run for those cheap yards, but it's the turnovers that he will have to continue to work on. Where he was better last year was inside the red zone. He struggled against the Steelers in that capacity with some costly mistakes. Now defensively, I thought the defensive line did fairly well, especially Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams. The back seven will need to play with much more consistency this week against the Bears, who will stretch you both horizontally and vertically. Now for the Bears, I like what I saw from Trubisky late in that Lions game, culminating his efforts with a dime throw to Anthony Miller for the game-winning touchdown. Now, can he do that for the full game is the biggest question. Expect the Bears to get their backs out in space against the Giants backers in the passing game. Defensively, it would be wise for the Bears defensive line to study that Steelers tape to see if they can pick up on the same keys that the Steelers did in the run game. The biggest matchup that I'm looking forward to seeing is between cornerback Kyle Fuller and Giants receiver Darius Slayton. That's the matchup the Bears need Fuller to win throughout the day. Now the Giants played the Chicago Bears close last year, and I think we'll see smarter play from Daniel Jones in this matchup. Look for a bounce back game for Saquon Barkley in the Giants run game as they'll get the win versus the Bears.